All Out with Rico and Karla is about to go live online. Catch select moments of All Out hit music, All Out celebrity interviews, All Out showbiz and sports news, All Out fun. Mid-mornings on the Monster. Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, or twitch.tv/Monster RX931. Your All Out hosts, Rico Robles and Karla Aguas. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Well, you know that's how it goes.
So high tech. Oh my! It sounds like we're gonna take a roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? It's like a briefing for a roller coaster ride.
Hello to everybody live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on air. Can we take a moment to appreciate Rico Robles' outfit? When I told him that we should dress up for today, I was just expecting him to wear a normal polo, not his regular t-shirt and whatnot, and he came decked out in that. I don't even know what to call it. We spoke to our guest behind the scenes, and she said he looked like he's ready to serve us a vodka, which, you know what, I feel a little underdressed, so I will just put a shawl. I look like a ham beside you there. Okay, do I look a little bit more dressed up? There we go. Because our guest for today, oh my gosh. Okay.
A lady that needs no further introduction, live on the show. Give it up for Miss Lea Salonga.
Hi. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Yeah, he looks so dapper this morning. He went all out.
Very punny. Rico will not let me live this down.
Very punny. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much. I'm here all afternoon. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Thank you for joining us. We know you're busy and that, my gosh, your schedule is just insane. So thank you for making time. I'm honestly, this is a dream come true. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me to be here. Thank you.
You know, how you been? How's everything?
I've been baking a lot of bread. The bakery is open. But seriously, I've been baking quite a lot of sourdough, fulfilling orders for a few friends. When I don't have orders, then I just freeze the starter and just put it away. And I don't know, mostly it's just staying really at home, trying to catch up on, like, I guess whatever. Trying to listen to some music. I listen to the radio when my stereo is able to latch on to something. Then I sit and I listen. Or a lot of it's been BTS lately. Shameless. Yeah, Shameless. And so I'm excited for the Grammys this coming Monday morning for us here. Sunday evening for the folks in the US. And so I'm excited and nervous, and they are representing, you know, a continent of people they're representing Asian artists up there and Asian excellence. So it's very exciting. So I'm glad that they'll be performing, because then, you know, hopefully more people get exposed to how wonderful they are. I sound like a recruiter. It's like,
what's your favorite BTS song?
My favorite. Oh, I don't know where I'm even going to start with this. I don't know, because a lot of their material is just really, really good, and a lot of it actually is surprisingly not for children. There's some of it that's like there's one that's titled Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It's like, well, that's not going to be rated G. There's going to be something going on there. So yeah, as young as they are, then there's stuff that's not meant for the tiny tots, which is fine. But I like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I love DNA, Dynamite. I also like, what is the one song from their new album that I like? I like actually Disease, Blue and Gray, and Life Goes On. And On is so good.
I genuinely love that Lea Salonga is a fan of BTS. I can't get over that. But Lea, how did that start? Because you know how, like, some people, they were into K-dramas and then they transitioned to K-pop. Other people were introduced. For you, what was the journey like?
I know that I have one friend who found them via K-drama, because one of them was in a K-drama. So when she saw him, and then that started her on this rabbit hole. And so that's how her being a fan began. Mine, I think it was just a matter of turning on YouTube in the midst of watching random videos or whatever, and then going, what is this? And then seeing Dynamite. So I think I finally started seeing the video maybe a couple of days after it dropped or something. Maybe I can't remember exactly what happened, but it happened. And the next thing I knew, I was playing Dynamite over and over and over and over again. I couldn't stop smashing the repeat button. So I got curious. I mean, I had seen them on TV previously for a New Year's Eve thing. I think I was in the United States. And I was like, oh, they're good. They're cute. Who are they? That was my first question. And then I was bombarded with answers on Twitter. But that's not when I latched onto their music and onto who they were. It didn't even occur to me in 2018, 2019 to even know who they were. It was like, the music's fun. This is fun. And then that was it. But it was only with Dynamite where it became, oh, which one is that? Which one are you? Which one are you? And then I saw Boy with Love on the late show with James Corden. So it was like, who are these? Who are they? Which then went into, what other videos do they have? Which then went on to, oh my gosh, all of these funny fan compilations. And then getting myself on Weverse to watch things like In the Soup, Run BTS, and that's it. And so this rabbit hole is deep. The rabbit hole is deep, but it's also a lot of fun. And I've gotten to meet some women who are close to my age that fangirl just as hard, if not harder. And it's quite the thing. And a lot of their fans have been really, really sweet, really, really nice, very welcoming. And so I've met a few people online and then we fangirl together. And one of my other friends in New York, who I worked with on a concert, who was also an opera singer, and she started fangirling. So it's quite the thing, and I don't see myself climbing out of this rabbit hole anytime soon. And now it's graduated to buying merchandise, so I have a little bit.
Whoa!
It's not nothing huge. I have a couple of there's coffee mugs, which I got, keychains. I just got this from Amazon, which a friend of mine brought home. It's a Tata pencil case, which I thought it was cute. And the thing that there's two reasons why I like this character. One, the one that I like the most, V, is connected to that character, and my mom. The character's name is Tata, and that's what my mom used to call me when I was a kid. So so it kind of throws back to my childhood. And it's cute. I think all these characters are gender neutral. So, you can be a boy, you can be a girl, and latch on to any one of them. So I think it's smart, very smart. And I think it shows where their heads are as far as, I think.
It's making it universal. Yeah, universal.
Can I share?
Universal. You don't have to be you can be whatever gender and latch on to any of those characters, and there's 7 and they're all so cute.
Can I just share that Lea Salonga fangirling over BTS is like a whole nother dimension. Like, aside from her love for like their talent and music, she has all this wisdom and like advice that comes along with it. Like, you know what? It's great because you can relate and latch on to any one of them. It's gender neutral. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Sana all with this, like open-minded and just considerate. And I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say we can love you even more now. There was a question earlier, Leia, if you don't mind me
Right.
asking. Aside from, BTS and all this fun stuff that you discovered, what else did you discover in 2020? Because 2020 was a year. It was
Yeah.
definitely
It
a
was a
different
year.
year. Yeah, a year felt like 10, but
Yes.
life
And
goes
still
on.
going,
I
actually.
love
This is the
BTS.
umpteenth day of 2020. 2020
That's
hasn't
true.
even really ended.
Yes,
Yeah, for
that is
anybody
true.
who thought that it ended, no. It has not stopped yet. It's ongoing. It's still happening. We're still in a global pandemic, so it's still 2020 for the
Mhm.
most part. I learned how to bake sourdough. And
Aw.
it's one of my proudest achievements, baking sourdough, which I mean I had talked about it sort of kinda.
Mhm.
And finally my mom said that she likes it. I sent
Is
her
Oh.
a
it
loaf and she's like, the crust is softer. I like it. I like it now. I'm like, okay, good. Good. That's good. That's good. There's nothing like your mother's validation when it's about food.
true
That you
that?
quite
I
like
mean,
it, right? When you cook something
yes.
and if your mom likes it, then I can die happy. Like right now. If God decides to strike me dead at this moment in time, my mom liked my bread. But I also make her leche flan and she's always liked it. So
Mhm.
I'm validated with my skills
Is
in
is there
the
is
kitchen.
there sort of a Lea Salonga skill that you would put in there to make your sourdough different from all
Do
the
you sing
others?
to it?
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I do talk to the starter, and that's the part that makes me a weirdo. But you know what? I'll take the title of weirdo. It's totally fine. Sometimes I'll talk to the starter. One of my friends who also bakes named it Lazarus
Mhm.
because there's a reason for it. And you know Lazarus, the Bible story,
Mhm.
the guy who was in a tomb and then Jesus made him rise from the dead.
Yep.
So that's kind of what a starter is. It makes this whole clump of flour and water rise, and it does. It really does. And yeah, and so yes, the bread rises and it fills these proofing baskets. And yeah, so when he suggested, let's name your, how about we name it Lazarus? I'm like, oh my gosh, that is perfect. That is so perfect for this. And it made me
Uh-huh.
so happy. I was like, okay, there's no, because the previous starter that I tried with, Lazarus was
Mhm.
my second attempt. Um, so the first one I named it Deirdre, because you're supposed to name your sourdough, apparently.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're supposed
You
to
have a
name your starter.
name.
You're supposed to name your starter. But I named the first one Deirdre, and it was not a good effort at
Mhm.
all. It's my whole kitchen smelled like shame. It was bad. It was
Shame.
so bad. Shame. It smelled like shame. And yeah. Um, and then I tried it again, and it's the same starter that when did I actually begin on that? August?
Mhm.
Still going, still the same starter. And
Wow.
I freeze it because normally to keep it alive, you have to keep feeding it with
Mhm.
flour.
Uh-huh.
You throw part of it away, you keep part of it, and you have to keep feeding it.
Mhm.
But well, since I'm not using any today, I'm not baking today. I don't have a timetable or a list of people I'm baking for.
Mhm.
Then I just stick it in the freezer. And then if I know I'm getting an order, I ask the customer, please give me a couple of days, like literally 2 days. And that wakes the starter up with another regimen of like every 12 hours, have to feed it with flour and water. Um, and then after 2 days, it's ready. And then I can start a bake.
There's
But
so
yeah,
much science to it. If you
I
only
there's
know.
know.
chemistry. There's a whole chemistry
Yes.
thing to it because there's fermentation involved. There's this thing called autolysis involved. It's putting the salt in to stop the fermentation. So I'm like, there are several chemical processes here, and yeah, and I don't always. I was not the greatest at chemistry, and so I'm not completely. I might have to talk to my daughter's chemistry teacher in order to
Mhm.
figure out exactly what the whole process is. But yeah, you have this thing called an autolyse, and then you have your starter, you have your levain, which is which is like your leaven, your leavening agent, your the thing that makes it rise, which is a mixture of your starter and your flour and your water, and then you add salt, and then you wait, and then the waiting period can sometimes be really long. Well, not really, really long, but it's like half hour to 45-minute increments, and it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's
And
quite a thing, and you need to be patient. You really have to be patient getting to learn it. And it took me a few months to get it right. I don't know how many loaves I wasted, but it was worth it. Once I got it, now I can actually do it half asleep, which is kind of
and
a sweet skill to have.
it's amazing your attention to detail, especially with baking.
Yeah.
Precision.
Yeah.
And could it be that it's something that you've come to pick up in theater through the years of singing?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's part of it, which is why I felt myself attracted to baking more than cooking. I'm like, I'm an okay cook. I mean, I can cook to survive. But yeah, but I mean, the sourdough baking, and I'm not the only theater person who does it. I mean, I think Sheila Francisco, I think I got her hooked on it. And I gave her starter. So Lazarus has gone to, well, yes, but I told her, you have to name this after somebody else. So she might have named it after her sister, who had passed away maybe a week or so before I gave her starter. So because if you keep this alive, or if you keep it going, then then in a way your sister by the starter continues to live on. And meaning, yes, she lives on in your memories, but here's something with her name that will continue to live even after she has gone.
Wow.
So yeah, and then another one is Joaquin Valdez,
Yeah,
who has
yeah.
done a lot of Joaquin Valdez. And so when I'm having trouble, I turn to him. And he has sent me reference videos. He has sent me recipes. He will send me pictures of his sourdough so that I have a reference of what to look for as far as what it's supposed to look like in the proofing process. I have another theater friend from New York, Orville Mendoza, who also is an amazing sourdough baker. So yeah, so there might be a thing, a correlation between theater and its discipline and baking this particular thing because of what it requires. It requires patience, it requires precision, it requires attention to detail. But it also you also need a little bit of flexibility if something goes wrong. You can't be all like, it's the end of the world or whatever. You have to, because in theater you have to think on your feet and you have to be ready for whatever could happen. And a lot of things have happened in my times on stage. So yeah. But it's a pretty consistent process now. And it's something that I don't really have to think about so much, which is nice. It's a nice thing to be able to create that. And yeah, so I'm a carb enabler for a couple of my friends.
Oh my gosh, that's like the dream. They have a carb connection now. You can
Yes.
literally, there's nothing like freshly baked bread. Aside
Yeah.
from sourdough, Leah, are you planning on perfecting any other recipes, or are you going to stick to sourdough and just like elevate it even more each time? Because people are asking, Miss Leah, are you going to bake something else? Miss Leah, when are you going global with your bread?
Cheesecake.
Oh my gosh. The other thing that I learned how to bake, which I actually learned how to bake before the bread, were souffles.
Wow.
That's a whole other kettle fish right there. That's a whole other
Beast.
that's a beast. That's another beast.
Yeah.
But I actually found that pretty easy. I think once I figured out what soft peaks were and how to consistently get soft peaks when beating egg whites and sugar, it's like, okay, now I know what to look for. And so now whenever I bake souffles, it's not even a thing anymore.
Do you film yourself?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
When you are baking, when you're at work, do you film yourself? Do you make
No.
poetry out of it?
No, I'm normally baking in my pajamas. No one really needs to see that.
Oh.
But at the moment, my kitchen is undergoing renovation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are quite a few folks that decided, you know what, I'll do some home improvement while I'm not doing anything else. And so one of my friends from high school, who's a designer and an architect, she and I have been in touch to bring my kitchen up to date. So
Wow.
I trust her, and if she's able to go around in this pandemic, I figured, you know what, I will ask her to handle this, because I wanted somebody that I was comfortable with
Yeah.
already. I didn't want a total stranger coming to my house. I didn't want, it's tough enough. And she is just incredible. The design that she created for the space, the people that she got me in touch with to make this, this kitchen dream a reality. Yeah, I felt that it was about time. And there's also a little bit of home repair going on in my house. Of course, everybody is distanced. Everyone is safe. Everybody's masked. I keep my distance away from the workers, just for mutual trust issues. They need to trust that I'm okay. I need to trust that they're okay. And yeah, and so everything is being done safely. Yeah, but
Just a random
yeah,
question, Leah.
random question.
At your house, right? Do you have the voice chair there too? Do you have a
Heck
replica
no.
of it?
No, that thing is unwieldy. It's a large. It's really not a piece of furniture. It's not. It's not the most comfortable. It's the second chair we got was that model was much more comfortable. Once we had I think the Voice Kids, that was the chair that stayed the chair for the rest of the seasons that we did the show. Yeah, but I don't have that thing here. First of all, it has to be plugged in, and there's all kinds of bells and whistles that it needs to be attached to. It's not just the button. There has to be an acrylic floor where your name is underneath. And we've had some tech difficulties with that thing.
Really?
People don't always, when you're watching it on TV and everything goes so smoothly, during blind auditions, that's the only time the chairs turn. And once we're in battles, once we're in sing-offs or knockouts or whatever round we're in, the chairs don't move anymore. And then they added the acrylic floor that if you turn for somebody, the thing on your floor turns white. If you block somebody, that the person you block, their floor turns red, or they're like the lane in front of them. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And then on top of that, there are other things. The writers give you questions that you have to ask each person that is in front of you. There are things you have to remember. I have to keep being reminded to speak Tagalog. Bamboo and I are the most notorious at violating this instruction. I think all of us, even Sarah, as wonderful as Sarah is with her Tagalog, and as fluent as she is, I think she ends up, maybe because of who she married, she ends up lapsing into English quite a bit now. And I find myself looking at her thinking to myself, you're supposed to be the best one at this. Why are you lapsing? Apple Diap, yeah, he's lived in the United States for the longest time. Actually, same with Bamboo, who lived in the Bay Area pretty much forever. And my first language is English. So for Sarah Geronimo to be lapsing into English, it's like, something must have happened in your life to facilitate that. But yeah, I remember a time when she was a little intimidated by the language. And I guess now that, she's married somebody who has an excellent command of it and was literally flanked on both sides by people, whose first language was English, or rather is English. I don't know. Maybe it's osmosis. Maybe it's one of those things that gets, maybe it's a communicable thing. I don't know.
Think about it this way.
Like a disease,
Now that she's
like catching a
made-
cold.
but now that she's speaking more in English, it makes you guys look less bad because then at the end of the day,
I
you can
know,
be like,
right?
listen,
It's
everyone is
amazing.
speaking it. Is it still a violation if everybody is speaking?
Well, it's less of a violation and more of a gentle instruction. But not so gentle when you get the laminated little card that says, please speak in Tagalog. And yeah, and it can be challenging when your brain is firing, say, at 90 miles an hour in English. It's hard. It's a challenge. When I can take my time, then I can do this. I can do this. I can think of the right words. When I have to write in Filipino, if I'm answering posts online, then and if I'm able to think and give myself a little time, sure. Then I actually can be pretty fluent. And some of the words actually that I've been taught, medyo it's in the matatas category of words. And my accent's not the most perfect, but it is what it is at this point. But when it's like a high pressure situation like that, then it's like English will always be the first things to pop into my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just is what it is. But Taglish, I'm able to somehow negotiate and figure out. Yeah, Taglish is it's okay because at that point it's just efficiency.
And the producers are probably like, well, at least there are a couple of words.
Yes.
We'll take
It's there.
it.
It's doable. It's doable.
She's trying really hard, you guys.
They got Miss Lea Salonga just joining us, and you were talking about her adventures with the voice. What was the harshest thing you've ever said to a contestant? And what was like, I mean, I watched
the tea.
I love you on the voice. You know what I mean? So what was the harshest that you're like, okay, I could take it. I wish I could take it back, but I had to say it.
No, I don't want to take any of that back. And I wish I could actually be much more blunt. But I also realize because how my brother and I speak to one another, and he's a musical director. Gerard Salonga, he's a musical director and he's a producer.
He's incredible.
And yeah, he's fantastic. He was actually a judge on another ABS-CBN talent competition. So this is just perspective. So it'll make me look like the nice sibling. And he had to actually give scores.
Oh.
And there was one singer who he explained it to me. I'm like, dude, you are viral on the internet. What happened? So he explained it. And to this day, it makes me laugh. So he's like, sis, there was this singer and she was flat the whole song. Flat means you're just like a half step under.
Okay.
And it's not pleasant.
Okay.
So he said, sis, how could I give her any score? He went viral for giving this poor girl a 0. A big fat goose egg. That was her score. He couldn't even give her the passing grade. I don't know what the passing grade was. Let's just say for our conversation's purposes, it was a 50. Let's say the passing score was a 50. He could not even give her that because for the entirety of the song, for the entirety of her performance, it was flat. And he knew the song. So in his mind, he was like, okay, may key change. May cambio. Baka sa cambio. Itatama na niya yung itatama na niya yung tono niya. Hindi pa rin. Like, sis, it's still, she was flat. Even after the key change, the whole key change thing was flat. I'm like, oh no. Oh nga, tama ka. You did not have a choice. So whatever I say as terrible as it might arrive to the contestant, as much of as it might, she hurt my feelings. Nothing's gonna ever top that. I'm the nicer one.
Nicer sibling.
By leaps and bounds, I'm the nicer sibling. Actually, but in reality, I'm the more serious one. So when I do give a comment on the voice, that might be a closer reflection of who I am as a person. And my friends know that I have the I have the stomach to smite someone
Mm-hmm.
if they deserve it. But only privately. It will never happen on the internet. I will try. I always endeavor to be my nicest self on the internet because I'm dealing with strangers, and I mean they're dealing with me, and I'm a stranger. I'm dealing with them. They're strangers. I have to be on my best behavior as much as I can, even if I
Yeah.
happen to be criticizing something. I try to be on my best behavior. I try, especially in direct interactions with people. However, there is one thing that I do remember saying to one contestant. I remember which contestant it is and which season it is and what stage of the competition it happened in. And it happened during live shows of season 1. And this is what I
Okay.
said. And those and people who are fans of The Voice will not forget it. I said, you know what? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So that's what I said. Yeah. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a not nice thing to say,
Yeah.
but it is a criticism. Because I mean, just because you have the ability to do something, it doesn't mean that for this particular song you should do it. I mean, every singer has a treasure chest of tricks, of the things you can pull out in order to enhance a song. And sometimes there are some songs where the less you do with it, the better the
Better.
performance.
Yeah.
And I understand that, yes, this is a singing contest. And yes, that you're supposed to try and impress the audience who is voting for you to stay and to continue on. But you're also trying to impress us, the judges, the coaches. Because if we're not coaching you, we're judging you. So you're trying to, and whoever is on the judging panel, and we've had 5, because Sharon Coneta also did it for a couple of seasons. So all of us have varying degrees have been in this business for so long that we kind of know that if all 5 of us were to get together and write a book, we probably could. Sometimes, yeah, the less you do something, the more impactful and powerful the performance ends up being, even if it's a singing contest. I remember, like, throughout, there were contestants that did not try super, super duper hard and ended up like giving goosebumps to the coaches and judges or to the entire audience. It's like, yeah. So sometimes less is more. Sometimes just because you have the ability to do something, like listen to Beyonce. Even there's going to be stuff that she sings where it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles we know she's capable of. And there are a lot of singers. If you have to study a lot of people, and you realize that, oh, there is something to that. So it's just one. So I have not forgotten that. And I think there are a bunch of people here that were commenting, oh, we remember that. We remember it well.
Yeah,
Well, I got a
because
question.
that's a very good line that you can apply in life. Just because you
Yeah.
can doesn't mean you should. Because a lot of people feel entitled, or they feel like, oh, I can totally do this, and sometimes
Yeah,
you
just
shouldn't,
because,
right?
I mean, now our COVID numbers are up. Just
I
because
know.
you can go out, just because you're allowed to, it doesn't mean that you should, especially if you have young children and seniors in your care. I don't know. I was getting messages last night that it seems as though people have forgotten that we're in the middle of a pandemic still. So yeah, so I'm still holed up at home, and so I kind of let my frustrations out on Facebook last night because I needed to vent. So
Aw.
I vented. Yeah, just basically saying is all of this effort for nothing, and all of us, that have been holding up, going out for like limited things. I mean, I've been outside, but not without the mask, not without the shield, and not without a spray bottle of rubbing alcohol. After I touch something, it's like
Yep.
I've not been able to hug my friends. I've not been able to go hug my mom because we're being patient and we're trying to stay as safe as possible. So it's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand that people have to do it because they're working. So let's try to do that safely.
Yep.
And do whatever we need to do safely. But yeah, I mean, we're still in the midst of this, and vaccinations are rolling out. So yeah, so now we just have to all just be a little more patient. I'm trying to continue to be patient and optimistic. It's hard though.
One thing that we love about you, Leia, is your online presence. You know, when you want to voice out something, you say it straight up. Where do you pull your courage from with the honesty and everything? And how do you deal with people who don't like what you post and people that love what you post?
I mean, in this business, one thing that you learn, this is show business, and you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's something that I say. Not everybody's going to like the kind of music that you make. You know, there are people who will be like, I don't get what she's about, and it's fine. There will be people who are like, oh my gosh, I love everything she's doing, and that's cool. So yeah, I think you have to get to a point, and I'm 50 now, so I think I've just about run out of F's to give at this point in my life. So I think when you reach any point where you stop thinking, I have to please the most amount of people, because this is still your business. This is show business, and you're trying to gain fans, you're trying to please fans, you're trying to not lose any of them. But there comes a point where it's like, you know what? F this. It's like I gotta say something, or, obviously I'm not going to be the most brave person. There will be subjects that I will just not want to, even for whatever reason, whether it's just a lack of knowledge or a lack of education regarding a certain topic. There's stuff that I will not, dip my toes into.
Yep.
For whatever reason. But yeah, if it's something that I feel knowledgeable about, if it's something that I feel, you know what, these are feelings. You don't need knowledge. It's feelings we're talking about. Then sure, I will say, this is how I feel, and write that down. And when you feel something, that sharing a feeling shouldn't have to require courage, because it's a feeling,
Yep.
I'm not disseminating fake news. I'm not, putting out there that something that clearly isn't true for the purpose of misleading people. I don't want to do that. I don't want to mislead. I don't want people to start doubting my integrity. I don't want to, put people on the wrong path to something. It makes me feel awful. Yeah, that doesn't sit well with me if I know that I did that to somebody.
I love her so much.
And we love you for that.
I love her so much. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I'm genuinely saying this, not to make sip, Leia, but it's so wonderful because, when you hear about somebody and you admire them and you see them on stage, online, you have all of these notions in your head that they're like this, they're like that. And sometimes when you meet that person, it's disappointing. But you are literally...
Sometimes, yes.
No, but you are literally you're not fake, and I think that's something all of your fans appreciate. What you see is what you get, and I just want to commend you for that, because it's not easy, especially not in your industry. The showbiz industry is very difficult. It's a very hard place to maneuver, and sometimes people can get lost or they get scared to be a certain way. But my gosh, you're so true to who you are and what you stand for. So thank you. Like, I am so inspired today. Like, I'm ready. I'm going to go online and just be honest. And I'm going to be like, listen, I am channeling my inner Lea Salonga.
But be careful also what you're honest about.
Yes.
There are things that the world at large does not need to know, and true. It's I mean, if you do strange things in your underwear in your house, Nobody needs to know that. You know,
But on TikTok.
nobody needs to. No, there are certain things about one's life that needs to stay hidden away.
Yes.
Yeah, just for whatever reason. It's just that's just the way it is. But yeah, uh, yes. I mean, obviously, wait. I'm trying to have a thought about this. But yes, to go back to your point about show business being a very difficult industry. There are personas that all of us have to put on. I mean, even me. I mean, there's not a mask per se, because I'm notorious for having RBF.
Yes.
And if you don't know what that is, look it up. RBF. I can't say it. This is
Resting
public
beautiful
radio-
face.
Well, the B is supposed to mean something else, but yeah. So yes. So if you and I've been caught on The Voice, with RBF, and
Oh no.
there are people that have taken screenshots of my RBF. So I mean, granted, hair and makeup were on fleek, but still had the expression, and it's just something that I can't help. I'm just very transparent. But show business is a business of perception, you know, and also of maybe preconceived notions as well. Where, as you have pointed out, you're a fangirl or a fanboy of someone, and you have these preconceived notions of who they are and the kind of people that they are. And if they keep the persona up, it's like it's difficult to keep that up for years and years and years of a career. It's just much easier being yourself. I mean, obviously, you have to be on your best behavior because there are societal dictates that need to be followed. Kind of a no shirt, no shoes, no service kind of a thinking.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a restaurant. So there are certain mores and rules of engagement and behavior that you still have to, follow. And you do that because, you're a good human being. but yeah, it's show business. It's a very tricky thing because you want to gain as many fans, and you want to be a nice person. You want to be a good person, but also you want to have a level of honesty and integrity, so that the face you put on is not a put on face.
Yes.
That it's not fake. And
You cannot fake it till you
because there
make
are
it,
showbiz
honestly.
personalities, there are people who are just so good at the persona thing that I'm like, my God, how are they able to do that? Where I feel like I get whiplash from seeing the switch. So it's like, yeah, it's just a very interesting industry to be in. Very interesting.
Leia, I just want to ask you, this is just out of random. If you weren't a judge on The Voice, if you're not Miss Lea Salonga that you are, and if you were to audition on The Voice, what would be the song you would sing? And who would be the coach you would choose?
Oh,
Or you would want to turn?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Because those auditions are something you're trying to get the attention of. You're trying to get the attention of the coaches, and as somebody that sits in that chair, it's like I know what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for someone to wow me. So the song selection has to be such that I don't have to think about the song or try to know what it is, because there's a lot of songs I don't know. But when I'm able to latch onto a performance, even of a song that I don't know, there have been people that have come on the show with Moira de la Torre, and we turn because the tone of the voice is just so beautiful. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would audition with, because we have turned for people who belt. We have turned for people who are quiet and intense. We turn for rock music. We turn for ballads. We've turned for folk songs and classical music. So it's like, so this is an I don't know kind of a thing. I don't know that I don't know what I would have picked and which coach I would choose. So it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You know, A Whole New World, the song, it actually holds a record on American Idol as being the most used audition song. Did you know that?
What? No.
Yeah. Yeah, they featured it on American Idol.
Goodness.
And they made a whole reel about it. Like everybody auditioned and used that song.
That's hilarious. What have we done?
You've changed the world and made so many childhoods so much better, okay? Like, don't.
I'm not, you know, I mean, the song is powerful. I still sing it in concert, and it's still one of the most fun things to do. I pull somebody out of the audience and sing it with them. And we've had a few mishaps with that song. We've had quite a few. We've had people come on stage either not knowing the song at all.
No.
That's happened. And I end up singing the whole thing by myself in 2 keys. And and then there are people who are so confident when they, you know, and you think, this is going to be good. This person is so confident in their abilities. Open their mouth, and it's like, and then I'm regretting all of the life choices I've made. all of my choices in life up until that moment, and then my manager and I just, you know, start talking to each other, like in the car or back at the hotel, or if Gerard happens to be at the gig. It's like Jer, what was that? Just be in the car. He's be like, sis, ano nangyari?
Siya yung na-stress. Oh my gosh, I like what Christian said. Oh, since we're talking duets. Rico.
I don't know how to sing that song.
I would pay good money.
I mean,
Big money. Oh, speaking of big money, Rico, we have to ask this question.
Okay.
Because you always ask this question. You should ask it. Big money.
Oh yeah, later. Hold on. I'm gonna hold this out real quick. I just want to know the story before we ask.
The face, Karla. No.
Yeah, you know, Lea, what's the story behind you becoming the singing voice of Disney with being a Disney princess? Did you audition for it?
Oh both times. I had to audition both times.
Really?
Yeah, and even though they knew my voice already from A Whole New World. I mean, you audition, of course, for the first time.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. And it doesn't matter if you have awards on your shelf, you'll have to still audition for stuff. So I auditioned for Aladdin. And then I also auditioned for Mulan. Yeah. So, yes. And it's one of those things where you go and I went into, I remember it being winter because I was wearing a really thick sweater and I wasn't wearing any makeup. Thank goodness I was 20. Because you have the good skin when you're 20. So I walked
come on,
in,
your skin is fantastic. Stop
yeah,
it.
facial care. My friends at facial care have been good to me. I'm still scared to go out, so I haven't actually gone to visit, but a few of the other endorsers have gone. And you're sanitized to the gills before you enter a treatment room. So we'll see. I also have to find a new driver. But anyway,
volunteer. I'm dressed up already for it.
No, I'm not taking applications. I'm really paranoid. So I auditioned for that. And even though you already have a track record for having done one singing voice, you have to sing for another one because it's a whole different character. They're gonna need they may want a whole different sound. So I think I sound more like how I normally sing on Mulan. On Mulan is how I really sound. A Whole New World has it's a more specific sound, and it's in a register I normally don't sing in. It's much higher. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so yeah,
Do you still get nervous? Like, let's say you're gonna audition for something. Do you get nervous or do you get
yeah,
like
terribly.
antsy?
Yeah,
Really?
I get
But you're
antsy.
Lea Salonga.
My doesn't matter. Palms get sweaty. Like even before a performance, my heart rate goes up. I get my
Wow.
cold, clammy hands. Both my brother and I, cold, clammy hands. And yeah, and I think it's just the stress and the adrenaline in the minutes before a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Teleprompters do help, and thankfully I have them now. And thankfully we request them for every gig that I do. It does make a difference. Um, yeah, and it's helpful to take some of the stress off, but it also adds another layer of stress because what if something happens and the computer that the teleprompter is attached to decides to crash?
Uh-huh.
That's a whole other level of tension and stress right there. So yeah, that enters my mind from time to time. Um, but yeah,
I love
it's
her.
yeah. So
I love her.
yes, so I do get nervous. So the first couple of songs of any concert, it's there's just so much adrenaline that's hard to control.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps when the song is loud, just to help get all of that stuff out. I cannot sing a song that requires a lot of control at the front end of a performance. And I wait until things have calmed down, when things are a little more relaxed. Then that's when I do things like Human Heart, Send in the Clowns, things that require Burn from Hamilton, things that require a lot of like control
Mm-hmm.
in how and what I do with the voice. If it's too shaky, then I can't. I can't sing the softer, quieter stuff. So we always start with something that's loud to get the
So
nerves
what's the
out.
usual song that you start with when you start your
It
show?
varies. I mean, I've started concerts with. There's a song called "I Can See It" from the Fantastics. I remember that one from the Broadway concert, and that was helpful because it's like you're just blasting out of the gate.
Uh-huh.
I've started with "Feeling Good," which is it starts off low and then gets higher, but it's not a quiet song, not really. Um, what else have I started with? Um, shoot, I'm trying to remember.
No Ricky
Oh
Martin
yeah,
numbers, right?
yeah. I'm sorry, nothing quiet, but yeah, normally it's something that I can belt something with, but it can't be something that it's a too high of a belt
Mm-hmm.
because my voice isn't super warmed up yet. So there's a
Ah.
tricky balance of all of these things of figuring out what do we open with. Can't just be any song.
So Carla, you have to warm
She's
up,
so I
right?
love it. Yeah, she's so
Warm up.
particular. Her attention to detail and like it's so well thought out, which I think obviously shows in every aspect of your life, Leia. I mean, even with your baking and everything, it's just so incredible to see somebody who is so talented and disciplined apply it in different aspects of their life. Like I could sit here and just watch you forever. I'm sorry, I have to put it out there because she's my Jasmine. Like Aladdin is my
Yeah.
favorite Disney movie. She's my Jasmine. I met you in RX a couple of years back, and the first thought I had was, "Oh my God, it's Princess Jasmine. She's in the studio."
She's flowing in a fine
I was
carpet.
literally like, "It's Princess Jasmine." Sorry, just had to put it out there. Okay, I'm done. Rico, carry on. I'm
Can
professional.
we get a sample of your Disney song from you? Can just
Rico,
even if it's a chorus for all the fans that are
Rico.
Yeah, let me see.
sing that.
Let me see. Um, well, it'll have to be this one. A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. Yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have for right now.
I
And that's the
cried.
show.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. This has been
Thank you, guys.
2021. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. My
You guys are
goodness.
funny.
No, I'm
Sounds
gonna
exactly
cry.
like a record. Karla, it sounds exactly like the record. Oh my goodness.
Leia, okay, wait. I want to start this off since Rico is going to ask the money thing in a bit. But he also asks this question, which I find interesting. I mean, you get a lot of requests like, oh, Miss Leia, could you sing this for your next performance? Could you sing that? What's one song that you love to sing every time? And what's one song that you're like, I could do without singing that, but everyone just wants me to sing it.
Like my manager in the US, his name is Josh, so I'll use his name. Josh has this thing called a hit list,
Okay.
and the greatest hits. So the greatest hits will include things like "I Give My Life for You," "On My Own," "I Dreamed a Dream," "A Whole New World," "Reflection." Now it also includes "The Human Heart" from Once on This Island. So there's a bunch of songs that kind of go on rotation,
Mm-hmm.
and what I choose to sing or which songs I will choose to include will get, sometimes it'll be maybe both "On My Own" and "I Dreamed a Dream," maybe
Mm-hmm.
neither of those things, and then it will be a song from Les Mis, but not those two, not the Dead Girl
Okay.
ones. And then there's a song from Miss Saigon, I may decide on "I Give My Life for You," or now we include "Why God Why," which is a song that the character of Chris would sing. But I have an orchestration of it because it's like, you know what? It's been over 30 years. I'm going to sing whichever songs I want to do. So there's the stuff that goes on rotation. Not everything is going to be sung. I've also done a mashup of "A Whole New World" with "Reflection," because the last concert I did, I couldn't bring somebody up on stage because Corona. So I had to. So I did this in Dubai. So it was a mashup of "A Whole New World" and "Reflection." I had also done it in the US previously. I think for a cabaret gig or something. So we had that, and then it's like, and so now it's 2021, and we're starting to prep things for touring in 2022. So already we're talking about, okay, what songs do we include? What songs should we start looking at? And it's not just about the greatest hits or the hit list anymore, but it's other material that I've never sung. So it's like, what can we start learning? What can I start learning? What can we start getting done as far as arrangements, and getting charts together? And this is an involved process because it's charts for a 4-piece band, 6-piece band, full orchestra. So, and these things will take time to do. And then it's like, okay, we've decided on this material. Which arranger would be the right person or persons for this? Okay, for this song, we farm it out to this. For this person, we farm it out. For this song, we farm it out to that person. Gerard has to do some of the ones that are tricky because he knows me the best. So I like certain things going to him. I like whether and it doesn't matter if it's a big orchestration or a smaller, more intimate thing. There are certain songs that's like, yeah, Gerard has to get that one. He has to be the one to do it because he gets inventive, and he puts like challenges in the charts. Whether it's, okay, you're going to clash with that chord, but you're supposed to, so do it. So things like that. Because he is my brother and he doesn't have to be polite. So it's reflected.
He's fierce.
So it's also reflected in the arrangements that he writes for me. He's like, okay, you're going to have to find that note. It's not going to be coming from the piano. I'm like, then where the hell is it going to come from? It's like, listen for the flute, listen for the clarinet, listen for the oboe, listen for the viola, listen for the this, or for whatever random instrument. So I know that the moment is coming. And then so I'm like, then I start to like brace myself. Okay, the flute is supposed to come in, and that's the note that's supposed to play. Like, okay, I got it. And then I use that as reference and go for the next thing. But he'll do it on purpose because I'm his sister. And I guess it's his sworn duty to give me a hard time at some point. So it's like,
what are siblings for?
Exactly. I can't make this easy for you. When he arranges for other people, he'll make it real easy for them to get a reference. When he arranges for me, it's like, what the heck? What are you doing? And so I'm always, I mean, he sends a study, to be fair, but it's like, where's that note coming from?
It's a chance to bully you. That's what it is. I
Yeah,
think
it's a
it's a
chance. It's a
chance.
chance for him to get back at me, I guess, for everything I've done to him in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's his like
it's like
sweet little revenge.
it's like it's sweet revenge. I,
You
you know,
know,
this is for when she did this in
when
1974
we were
or
6.
whatever. When I was 3, this is what she did. I finally get, you know, it's like divine retribution is here.
Leah,
I will
in
smite
in
my sister with music.
in, uh, in Philippine cinema, Leia, one thing that we have come to cry, and it's such a milestone, and we're still
I think I know
waiting.
where you're getting at.
It's of course the character of Agnes and
Oh,
Jerry
Agnes
and
Sarmiento.
Sana Maulit Muli. That's the movie on my drama class. I think a lot of people have it on loop as well. Made a lot of
Yeah,
people
you're gonna
cry.
see the comments coming in because I
Yep.
think a lot of people
They're
have
coming.
connected.
It's
Is there
here.
going to be a sequel for that? Because there was a time that the
Why would there be
story
a sequel
ended.
of it? Well, I like that they ended. Actually, here's some trivia for you. The ending. I don't think that was supposed to be the ending where he sees her like standing outside his building or whatever, or the ending. That ending. I think as we were shooting the film, we didn't have an ending, and so I was like, Olive, ano gagawin natin dito? What are we gonna do? She's like, ewan ko nga, hindi ko alam kung ano gagawin natin dito. And her voice just drops. And she's like, I don't know what we're going to do with this. Like, because it makes sense for them to not end up together. It makes sense that they say their goodbyes. You know? And but it's like, this is 1995, I think, and this is a love story. I think we're going to have to do a happy ending for these two people. So we kept it so it wasn't a long drawn out, scene of anything. You just see her, you see him, no words. They hold hands and they walk off into the sunset together. And I think, it's nice to see a happy ending. I mean, I like happy endings for movies because life, I mean, we as we all know it to be, can be very unkind. And
Yes.
so if only in the movies we get those happy endings. I mean, obviously there will be movies where a happy ending is just not possible for context or time period or what. Then sure, we will want the sad ending. But for Sana Maulit Muli, it's good that the characters had, their walk off into the future, whatever that future might end up being, and that it's open ended. It's nice to not know what happens after happy ever after. I mean,
It's such a movie of hope. If
yeah.
I mean, for those that are
May
LDR, you know
forever
what I
pala
mean?
sila, or the possibility of forever.
Yeah.
It's nice to think about, that they had that. So I wouldn't
know what-
want a sequel to this. Just leave it alone.
Leave it a classic. right?
Yeah, it's a classic, and we saw the movie when it turned. What was it? It was 2010, so I think 25 years or something. Yeah, and so we saw the film, and we were all amazed at how well it held up. There are some movies that when you watch them now, for
You
whatever
cringe.
reason,
Yeah.
it's like cringe. It's like, okay, this did not age well at all. There are some things that age beautifully, and
Yes.
those deserve restoration. And there are things that are like, please put that back in the baul where you found it. Let no one ever see it
Maulit.
again. know, put it in that cedar chest. Let it stay there. Like, no, just throw it away. But yeah, so Sana Maulit Muli aged quite well. The issues that are brought up in it are still relevant,
Yes.
which was also surprising. Yeah, there was a lot about seeing that movie again that I found to be quite, a shock in a good way. That, yeah, that it held up. And Aga and I were sitting beside each other watching the film, and we were surrounded by our families, and we would sometimes look to each other and go, "Oh wow, this is actually still good. This is actually still
Relevant.
good. This is still good. It's still relevant, and this is why this was one of the movies that was chosen for the restoration, the Sagip Pelikula project.
Yes.
So I'm grateful because, yeah, it was the film. I think the quality was deteriorating because things age as things do, and I'm happy that now it has been digitally restored, and what I remember things looking like, it now looks like that again. So
Aw.
yeah,
The movie was actually shot here along Emerald Avenue, where our building is
Yes.
at in Ortigas. Yeah, so the streets are familiar.
before a lot of the buildings that are there now were even existing. There was still a lot of
Wow.
open space in Pasig. I remember that when we shot.
Well, thank you for that movie. My goodness, thank you for that. Now I'm gonna ask a question, Leah. You're making the big money.
This is why I was making the face earlier, because it's like we
I
want to
saw you
know.
post about an anniversary of The King and I. You did
Yeah.
post about it, that this is like the first paying audience that you've had on the show. Am I right?
Yeah,
How
first
much
paying audience,
money?
first paid gig.
Wow.
How much money was your first paycheck, and what was
I
that
don't
first thing that you bought?
I don't
If you can remember.
remember. Actually, because my mom was the one who took the pay. I was only 7, so she was the one who took the
Aw.
paycheck. So, like Raymond Lauchenko, this was his debut as well. So his showbiz anniversary is the same as mine.
Aw.
And Rahul Laurel. We the three of us debuted on stage at the same time in the same show. So yeah, so Raymond has been at this also for 43 years now. And he commented on that post and said, I remember my paycheck. It was 700 pesos. But he was actually one of the principals. So mine, I reckon, would have been less than that. I remember, what was it? And I was a little kid. It was like maybe $50 for the week or
Oh
something.
my gosh.
Maybe, I don't know. It was just really tiny. Maybe not. I mean, somebody could probably tell us if they remember. Rick Rajo, if you remember, because you and I were kind of, I think in the same tier at the time. But yeah, I don't remember how much I got, but it was just maybe a couple hundred pesos, if that, a few hundred. And I don't remember what I bought, but I think I might have actually opened a bank account with that money.
Hey,
Responsible at like
that.
bless. Little
I think
did
my
that
mom-
Leah
my-
know
My mother
that
might
she
have
was
brought me to
gonna
the
have
bank.
several bank accounts later on, several dollar bank accounts. I mean, little Leah was just like, whatever.
Here's
Gonna
my
put my money
200. Some more
Yeah.
random questions, Leah. Who's the most famous person you've ever met so far?
Oh, name drop.
And also a
Oh.
bucket list, like a person that you want to meet.
I
if you
mean,
haven't.
I mean, there was one night during Allegiance, which is the Broadway show that I did in the U.S., where there were like 3 or 4. No, because in the building we were 5 Tony Award winners, because there were 2 of us on stage at the time. So Bernadette Peters, Audra McDonald, and Joel Gray came to the show, and then I've also gotten to meet Julie Andrews and got to work with her. So yeah, that was exactly my reaction. It was like, because she is the voice of my childhood.
She
She
is
was the sound of music.
Julie.
She is Mary Poppins. She is And I remember seeing Victoria, and I was like, it's so nice to meet you. And she's like, oh, please call me Julie. And I'm like, may God strike me dead now. But yeah, she's and Ben Kingsley. So and there was Peebo Bryson. So I got to sing with Peebo Bryson. I got to sing that lush Rodgers and Hammerstein score with Peebo Bryson. A lot of us who know who Peebo Bryson is, and if you don't, shame on you. That is one of the most amazing voices of any generation. Who else have I met? Oh, yes, I've met Hugh Jackman. Like anybody from that Hey Mr. Producer concert who was famous, I got to meet them. And everybody was nice, and everybody showed up for 2 weeks of rehearsal. And it was quite, no, I think 1 week. 1 week. Exage naman kung 2 weeks. 1 week of rehearsal. And it was quite a gathering. And Mark Hamill, I met him.
Wow.
Because I made it my mission at the Tony Awards, I think 2017, to take selfies with people.
Oh.
I'm kind of an introvert. I mean, I don't look like one, but I am one. And when I see somebody famous, I tend to get really, really starstruck and frozen. And I don't end up going near them in order to say, may I please have a picture with you? And then regretting it later.
Yeah.
So, so I had my camera. I made sure it was charged. So, I mean, Lin-Manuel Miranda, we know a lot of the same people. So, and then when I saw Mark Hamill, I'm like, expletives in my head. And then I'm like, can I please take a picture with you? And then it turns out he knew what Miss Saigon was. And then I was like, oh my God. And so I have a selfie with him.
Strike me.
May God strike me dead. So there's that. So I took a picture with him. Josh Gad, who was in Frozen.
Yes.
Yes. And I give warm hugs. So there was him. Who else? There were other. Then Angela Bassett came backstage. Cicely Tyson came to see Once on This Island. My daughter did the Wakanda salute to her.
That was so precious.
Like that was
so precious.
Yeah,
that was so precious. When that went viral, I was like, it's got to be Lea Salonga's daughter to do that. I mean, like,
yeah, because she has no fear.
Yeah, and she understands respect. You have to give respect.
Yeah, and everybody backstage just totally lost it. It was the cutest. Yeah, because she's like that. Her personality is that she will do stuff like I'm not. No, I will. I will hide. I will. Yeah, that's just. I think I'm a little more introverted than my daughter is, but she characterizes herself. She might be more ambivert. So because she will do stuff like that, and I'm like, no. Who else have I met? I've met quite a Ralph Macchio.
Wow.
When they were promoting Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
On a TV show. We were performing on that TV show for Once on This Island. I was dying. And then so I met him, and then he knew what Miss Saigon was, and he said that his daughter does musical theater also. And I was like, oh my God, it's Ralph Macchio. Oh my God, it's Billy Zabka. I was like, this is my childhood right in front of me. And yeah. And they have taken very good care of themselves. They look incredible.
Well preserved.
They
well preserved.
They look good. Whatever their secret to their own fountains of youth might be, it's like you got to share it with the rest of the class.
You're one to talk. Lea, I'm sorry. I just have to ask before we let you go. I mean, I could listen to you all day, but like after a show, like let's say after a Broadway show or after a concert, what's something that you love to do? Like either maybe it's a tradition or it's something that you just realized you do all the time. Like, do you pop a bottle of champagne? Do you put on a blanket and go to sleep? Do you take a bath? Like, what's that one thing that you always have to do, like after a show? That's
after a show,
kind
I
of
play
like
video
a tradition.
games. I play video games after a show. Yeah. Well, after taking off the makeup, because you can't have that on your face for hours and hours. So I take my makeup off. I take a hot shower just to wash the day. Especially if I've played a role that takes a lot out of me.
Uh-huh.
Then I take the time to take a hot shower. I mean, if I feel really, really tired, then a longer shower, or I try to maybe a soak in the bath if my body's feeling like out of sorts. Then after that, once I'm in my pajamas and once I've had a snack and I'm feeling relaxed, I will play video games. When I was doing Les Mis in 2007, quite a while ago, the game I was playing was BioShock.
Bioshock.
Resident
BioShock.
Evil.
It's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, but I got really good at selecting my weapons for whatever undead weird creature was coming at me. I actually want to check that out again. I think it's available. It should be available. I don't know that it's available on Xbox or for this particular one.
You can probably get the app
So-
now, like the game app.
Okay.
So it'll be on your phone.
Oh, good. On the phone? Seriously?
Yeah,
BioShock's
you can.
available on the... Oh, okay. I'll check. So that... Sometimes it'll be... What was I playing? After Sweeney, I think I was just so exhausted, so I don't think I was doing anything. Oh, no. Assassin's Creed. I think I was playing Assassin's Creed.
Can we take
Yeah.
a moment? Can we take pause? She loves BTS. She gets starstruck when she sees Hollywood celebrities, or if they know her, she becomes a little introverted. First of all, you're Lea Salonga. Everybody knows you. She plays video games. Hello,
BioShock.
relatable. How relatable is she? Like, okay, the only thing missing is talent on our part. See, we're basically Lea Salonga minus the talent and the forever youthful skin. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
one basket short of a picnic, you know? Sorry, I just had to put it out there. Okay. I mean, guys, I think we can all agree this has been a fantastic Friday. Everybody in the comment section, Lea,
They're going
people
crazy.
love you. Like, seriously,
Aw,
I don't
thank
think
you, you
it's ever going to
guys.
stop. And I think it's, you deserve it. You deserve so much more than the love that you get. But I mean, it's an outpouring of love. And not everybody has that. What's your message to all of your fans? I mean, especially the ones that have been there since day one, the ones who have gotten, their friends to obsess over you, the army that loves you and has adopted you. Like,
I know. I feel so special. The
What's
army
your
has adopted
message?
me.
yeah.
I got gifts. I mean, when I first revealed that I was a fan of BTS, it was like, yeah, there were people sending or wanting to send stuff. And yeah, so Jed Madela, who's another army, was receiving stuff on my behalf. He's like, and he would text and say, there are fans that sent stuff to my house. I will send it to your house in a minute. So I'm like, thank you.
Oh.
There were cupcakes
Mhm.
with Jungkook and V on them. I was like, how do I eat this? I don't want to eat these cupcakes. They're so beautiful. It's like, yeah. So yes, my biases are Jungkook and V. So to the fans, thank you. To my fans, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm kind of an anomaly in show business. I think I'm not. It's. I don't quite fit into any mold, and I'm kind of happy that I don't, because we're the weird ones. Let's all just be weird together.
Mm.
And yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I tell my daughter, revel in your weirdness. Be happy that you're weird. The weird ones inherit the earth.
Okay, Beatitudes.
And the weird shall inherit the earth.
Do you realize, Leia, that God is looking down at you like, first of all, you've asked me to smite you like 4 or 5 times. And
At
now
least
you're
4 or 5
inventing
times.
Beatitudes. Okay, Peter, you got to add this in the Bible.
Let's add this. And the weird shall inherit the earth. The nerds will inherit the earth.
They will own the
That
earth.
is actually true. That's not a
Yes.
beatitude. That is actual fact.
Yep.
Yeah, the nerds will inherit the earth. So study hard, please. because yeah, you were the key to curing things and building things and space travel and
True.
advancements in whatever. The nerds will inherit the earth. That's not a beatitude. It's an actual fact. But again, back to my fans. Thank you for your continued and continuing support. You know, you know, I do go into my DMs sometimes, and I do read the messages that are left for me. Not all, because sometimes I will get hate in there, which is rude, but it happens. But yeah, but those who have left really sweet messages, those who have done really nice fan art, and I've seen a lot of it, and some of it is just breathtaking. For those of you who listen to my music, who put up with my personality, it can be a little extra sometimes. For those of you who have embraced the person that I am, as well as the artist that I am, and the music that I create, and the things that I do stand for. Yeah, thank you. That there's really nothing more that I can add to that. It's an expression of much, much gratitude for supporting a career that has just begun its 44th year today.
Insane.
Because yesterday was
Insane.
the anniversary. So today is like, or was it yesterday that started a brand new year? Let's say today starts a brand new year, so of being able to do what it is that I love to do. And yeah, I think touring will resume in 2022. And so let's all, next year back to work. So I have to use this year in order to prepare, which means getting into shape to sing, because it's just much easier to sing when one is in shape. It's hard when you're not. So, and that's just a fact. So I think we're going to be preparing for that. And I'm sure it's going to be a very emotional moment for me as a performer that has not been able to step on a stage for 2 years. You know, once that moment comes, it's going to be something very special. And to the very first audience that I will be performing for post Corona, we'll probably all just cry together for the first 10 minutes of the show and realize how special it is to be able to be in a room like that and have our heartbeats all go in sync and breathe in sync and think in sync as well. So it is something that I will really look forward to and prepare for properly. And it's something I think that will be very, 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 very special. So I'm looking forward to it.
So
Let's all
are
look forward to
we.
it.
So are
Leia,
we.
when it starts, you do your show and you're waiting for that moment, and then someone's phone just rang. What you gonna do?
Oh God! Eject out! I'll stop the show probably if somebody's phone rings at the beginning. I'll be like, it's like, do you really want to be that guy? Do you want to be that a-hole right now to do this at this moment?
First of all, Rico is saying that because more, most likely it's gonna be
Oh,
him.
you mean?
He's gonna be there in the front in that outfit, like, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think we announced and we put notices up. Please turn off your phone or put it on silent, man lang, di ba?
Yeah.
Just quiet.
She's having
Leia,
her
thank
moment.
you.
Quiet the phone, please lang. It's like But yeah,
Oh my
I've
goodness.
done the concerts where I have my iPad here, where it will be like that. There will be people, I'm on stage and they're doing this. It's like, how rude. Why did you spend that money to buy that ticket if you're just going to be on Facebook?
But they're gonna
Do that at
video
home.
you. It's content.
No, hindi It's not. Hindi ganyan eh. Hindi ganyan yung hawak. It's not like this where the camera is out. That it's like yun pa maintindihan ko. But hindi eh. Nagbabasa. As in, you see the glow and the head is bowed and the glow is like
See,
that.
Carla, they see that, huh? The performers
First
see
of
what
all,
we are doing.
she's speaking in Tagalog and it's too precious. Hindi.
Oh,
Speaking Tagalog in tiny.
Oh my
Leia, thank you
goodness.
so much for spending
Thank you very
time with
much. Thank
us.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for making our
you.
Friday fantastic. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a treat. This was so much
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
And I have one more before we go, Carla. Here in the Philippines, if in the States, if it's basketball, it's Michael Jordan. For singing, for musical theater, Leia, you are the person that everybody looks up to and
Goat.
wants to be like you.
Goat.
What is your message for people out there that are trying out musical theater, they're trying out singing, and they look up to you?
Oh my. If it's as a recreational activity, I'm not going to stop you. If it's singing just to be expressive, if it's just to be creative, by all means do. And allow, and singing can be a very healing force. However,
Here we go.
if you want to make this a career, then there, at the very least, don't be flat like that girl that my brother had to give a 0 to. Please lang. Wag. Don't. Because, yes, at the very least, you should, without the help of auto-tune, you have to sing well. And this is regardless of the quality of your kind of singing that you do. Because you can be Regine, you can be a Jaya, you can be a Moira, you can be KZ, you can be Sarah G. And these are all different types of singers with different types of voices who bring something different to the industry, But they all sing well. That's the thing. They all sing well. They're all emotionally connected. And you can feel the emotion when they sing. You have to be at least that if you want to make this a career. You have to have the chops for this. Kung hobby lang, sige lang, it doesn't matter. But, if you're going to make this a profession, you have to be at a very high level. Have the goods. Make sure you have the goods before making the decision to, you do not want to be that bad audition on American Idol or on The Voice. Don't be
True.
that guy.
Just because you
Don't be
can
cringy.
doesn't mean you should.
Noted.
Leia, thank you so
Leia,
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Truly, thank you.
Stay
We
safe.
learned
We love you
so
so
much.
much.
So
Thank
much.
you, you guys. Thank you. Stay safe, everybody who's listening and watching.
Stay safe. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. None other than Miss Lea Salonga. Oh my goodness. Carla. Hour and a half with Lea Salonga.
I need to process this. I need like 30 minutes to just be like this. Did that
She
just
sang
happen?
on the show, Carla.
She sang, she made us
sang
laugh,
on
she
the
gave
show.
advice, she was real, she is so freaking precious. Rico, I was really hoping that she was going to be this amazing because she's Princess Jasmine. And she was, and more. I get it, people. I get it. May the Lord smite me now. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, we
So,
hope you all
Carla,
just
are you gonna
enjoyed.
Are you going to pursue musical theater? I asked that question just for you, actually.
Yes, I'm going to pursue music from the comforts of my room. And my
Yes.
mother can be my audience. Because just because I can doesn't mean I should. I don't want to go viral for all the wrong reasons. And then Leia will tweet it and be like, oh, dear God.
Look what I have unleashed. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a big fan, if you're a dreamer and you want to be just like her, get that blueprint on how to begin. Hey, share this. Tag this
Yes.
to somebody who's a big fan of Lea Salonga, just like myself. Oh my God. Sana Maulit Muli. I got the answer that I needed, Carla, for
I
that
know.
movie.
You needed that closure.
Oh, goodness. We needed that closure, all of us. But thank you guys for watching for Facebook Live, for YouTube, and for Twitch, and on air. She is Carla Aguas.
He's Rico Robles Live. Bye, guys.
Monster exclusive interview only on Manila's hottest Monster